What's good, superstars? Back with another video. Today I am doing another case study on the channel. I'm really enjoying it. I think you guys have been enjoying the other case study I've been doing. If you haven't seen that one, you can go check it out. We're doing a daily dividend snowball, starting with $1,000, and we're going to see how big we can grow the distributions by feeding the other distributions into themselves before the first ex-dividend date that approaches. Not worrying too much about the principal and just hoping to increase the income out of that portfolio. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to give you guys an update, I think, next week. I'm going to do things bi-weekly on that one, but this one here, it's a new one. I'm on the YieldMax website because this was inspired by a comment. I can't remember if it was on Blossom Social or if it was on YouTube. If you did that comment, please remind me, but I'm going to look back and maybe on the next video I'll give credit where credit is due. Basically, someone said that they were going to be buying the inverses of certain ETFs by YieldMax and then just collecting the premiums. I say, you know what, that's not a bad idea, because realistically inverses should perform opposite, and then if they're still paying a high yield, you should be reaping the benefits of that dividend. I don't think it's going to work out exactly like that based off what I've seen in my comparison tool. I'm going to show you guys that in a bit, but just to give you an example, if you look over here, you got single stock option income ETFs, but then you also have short single stock option ETFs. So you have Crash or CRSH, which is the Tesla inverse. You have DIPS. I'm not too sure which one that's the inverse of. I think NVIDIA. Then you have Fiat, which is the inverse of Coinbase or Coney. And then WNTR or Winter, which is the inverse of MSTY, which is the MicroStrategy play. So we're going to be picking one of these for today's video. I'm going to pull over to the spreadsheet. This is the RRSP. We're doing it again. These pay in USD. I had $1,000 hanging around in the RRSP, so why not use it for this case study? Here are the rules. Buy 50% each inverse high yield funds. So for example, if we're going with MSTY and Winter, which are MicroStrategy and MicroStrategy inverse or short, we would buy $500 in MSTY, $500 in Winter, and then see what happens. Manually drip the distribution, so they each pay a decent distribution. Whenever they come, we can manually redistribute them. We can look at this as it goes. If one side is beating up the other side, maybe we try to even it out a little bit. Depending on what's happening, we can redistribute the distributions that way. If one's paying a little bit more than the other one, maybe we put it into one that's paying a little bit less, try and bring the distributions closer together. You guys let me know in the comments, what do you think? What would be the best way to do the distributions? Or should we just drip them into themselves and see what happens that way? We could always do that. Track results, we do that so we know what's happening. And then like the video and subscribe to the channel, obviously. Very, very key to the strategy. So the 50-50 hedge, we're going to call this portfolio. And this is our initial budget. $1,000 Canadian. We got the conversion rate there for the US because these are US funds. Current value, I just bought them. So there's some kind of US tax on my brokerage that's getting me for like 20 bucks. Somehow changing in the after hours right now. We're filming this at 6:44 p.m. So the after hours is still active. So we're down 2% after just having bought. And I think we will recover that, hopefully, rather quickly, because these are weekly payers. Unless there is a big dip, but it doesn't even matter, because if there's a dip, that means that my short should be doing well. So we're going to find out exactly what happened. But anyway, I picked up $500 of each. Like I've mentioned, I use Wealthsimple. I'm Canadian. When I do buy American funds, sometimes there is rounding errors. I buy $500, it gives me $499.81 for MSTY, and it gave me $497.11 for Winter. Here's the share prices in Canadian using the conversion, and here is the number of shares. Obviously, MSTY is a much smaller share price, so we're going to have a lot more shares. And there's been no drip, but I just keep that just in case. On the left here, on the right here, sorry, the payday, Friday for both. If this is going to look very familiar to you guys, if you're watching the Daily Snowball Challenge, by the way, I use the same spreadsheet, obviously. But MSTY and Winter, the distributions on their website right now are 87.23 for MSTY and 115.45 for Winter. So do I put more into MSTY as we go here? I think we're going to have to see what happens, how it plays out. But so anyways, this was the initial purchase price. And then the current is over here, basically instantly down on whatever fees or whatever's happening in the background. But hopefully we'll get it back. these are projections. So the white is projected and green is actual. We haven't had a distribution yet, but this Friday should be getting paid our distributions. We bought this today is Tuesday. So we're going to wait a little bit and get paid on Friday, and we should be getting around $18.99, $19 based off of the distribution shown on the website. But the declaration will be Wednesday, I think, and then the ex-div Thursday and the payment Friday. So we're going to find out exactly what we're getting paid on those days. And then it will track the total. This accounts for any distributions, because when I get paid the distributions and reinvest them, I update these numbers in the white, and that will automatically update this. So we're going to find out what happens. If you want to look at it on this website, Stock Analysis, by the way, stockanalysis.com is amazing. It's one of my favorite websites just to compare trends and see all that stuff. So you can see I've put in MSTY, I've put in winter, and this is basically total return. So having basically based on the price of the stock, and if you include the distributions paid out, both are actually positive over 10 years. And you can see winter is in the orange, and you got MSTY in the blue, and they're not perfectly like symmetrical or anything like that, which is what you would think you would get from price action of like, even if I go to the total return, if I go to stock price change, you would think this should be perfectly thing, but they're actually both going down. They're both negative when it comes to price action, which is kind of weird. Like, if one goes down, the other one should go up. How good is the inverse? That is the question. Let's see if we go 1 year here, how it looks. No, even 1 year, we're still negative on both. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like 6 months, okay. If you're going the last 3 months, then we're negative +10 and negative 49. But this is stock price change. If we go to total return, it's a little bit better. So they're close, but the total return of MSTY is negative even with the redistribution. So, or not with the redistribution, but with the distributions included. So, but these are starting to look a little better, almost like they got their stuff together and got a perfect, more inverse. And this is when it comes to total return. So are we going to end up positive? I don't know how long I'm going to run this series. This is more of a feeler. I'm not really into only making maybe 1%, 2%, 3% when I could just be putting in the SPY and making 10% plus in the long term. So just something to see how it goes. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you guys come up with any other ideas, I have a few more ideas for case studies. I'm not going to throw them all out there because we're tracking a bunch of stuff already. But this one I thought was a little bit of a fun idea. We'll see what happens. Are you guys investing into the high yield funds? Are you looking into covered call ETFs? Are you using YieldMax funds? I'm going to be honest, they're not really my favorite funds to be using. They are high yielders, but I have noticed a lot of erosion of not only the NAV, but of the yield, which is more important to me. If the yield is eroding at the same time as the NAV, what am I even doing here? I mean, at least hold the yield. I understand if you redistribute the distribution into, and you like drip it, then it brings it back up per se. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm finding that there's other funds that have been performing a little bit better. Let me know your experiences with YieldMax. What do you think of this strategy? Is it going to be a fun one? I think it's going to be fun to track. Maybe we'll do it for a couple months here and see what happens. If it's performing well, why not just keep it going or grow it, right? So something we can all look at together. But yeah, again, very excited to do this. And it's not the hedges like you think in the front of your house. You know, it's the hedges like buying something and then buying the opposite just in case to cover it. But because we're getting such high distributions, hopefully it plays out. We'll see if they've changed things over the length of having these funds out. And if we do get better results than the long-term results so far, I'm curious to find out. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Smash the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're putting out content. We're trying to make a lot of content for you guys. And hopefully get a lot more of these series out there. It looks like you guys like them. We'll see you in the next one. I love you. Bye.